I decided to do a short slides on team price multi-year high. Reason being because I have been looking at team price for many years since 2001, 12, 13, and back then the team price was around 18,000, 17,000 USD. But fast forward to today, 6 September 2021, you just got to see that in terms of what's the price. Well, right now it's around 33,500, 33,300. And if you look at the price chart, wow, it seems like it's up 50% from the 22,000 level. Is it the inflationary stories? Well, inflation is no longer transitory. That's always been the debate and narrative in the media right now. People have been talking about, well, how inflationary the global environment is. Look at the CPI and PPI in US. The number one question we should ask ourselves, can good things last forever? When I mean good things in terms of price jump, 50% jump, can think price go another 50%? Well, there are definitely bulls. Look at the copper bulls, look at the oil bulls, and there are reports by top investment banks call well for commodities bull run is not going to end. But a number one question back then in looking at team price is, are there any changes in industry dynamics? Well, there are top 10 team producers. Is anyone having a drop in production level? That's the question you need to look at. And my team numbers and annual refined team numbers are something that we need to look at. And we know that China is a big producer. Indonesia is a big producer. So is South America, Myanmar in terms of team mining areas. If you actually look at Malaysia, the last few months of coronavirus situation in Malaysia had caused some tighter measures being implemented whereby team production may have dropped then. At the same time, Myanmar supply issues due to the coup and protests have also taken a hit on the team production. That's my sense on how it have done in terms of its impact on the team price. So we take a look. Team market size is around 360,000 tons back in 2020. And in terms of the supply and demand dynamics right now, we know that there's some supply issues in Myanmar and Malaysia, as well as in South America. While the demand wise is likely to be relatively flat because of the team application matters, though there's International Team Association projecting a long long growth in terms of team demand going forward. Well, and they even projected 400,000 tons of tons of team demand by 2025, and the demand supply gap will it grow, then that subsequently lead to the big price gap right now. Well, you have to ask yourself this question. You look at the London Metal Exchange team official price curve, the cash price level is 3,500, whereas going forward when you lengthen the contract, meaning further into the price curve, well, we'll see that the price is actually coming down back to around 31,000, which means that the concerns over supply may have abated, and whether the demand is as strong, that's also a question to ask. So what's my take? My take is that short-term price action wise, it's definitely possible for team price to come down back to around 28 to 30,000 USD. Will I bet on it? Right now, given the risk reward, is is alright, but not exactly that fantastic. If I'm going to put in a short bet on team price, I will definitely put a stop loss. As to each individual, you have to be able to see and practice and know how to insert in a stop loss level. I wouldn't go too much into this because this is another level of technical analysis that different people have different levels of understanding and execution skill, which is very important. So in terms of trading commodities future, a lot of people actually lose money. So people have to be very careful on it. Well, if one does not have the avenue to look at thin commodities future, there's of course there's those exchange traded structured products that's out in the market. That's like the Bloomberg team side index total return instruments, all this different kind of instruments. One had to be very careful because all these kind of embedded instruments have their own risk in terms of time decay and transaction costs that erode the returns. Of course, when you want to look at any products, you have to look at how closely does it replicate the underlying price movement of the commodity. So one had to be very careful on this. As always, this should not be construed as any investment or trading advice, but just to document down my advice to myself and to see whether my market call is good at this point of time. Thank you.